Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Kayleigh McEnany is not taking any crap from the CNN bully who is trying to intimidate her, and it's not going to end too well for him. Let's dive in.
And I have his exact quote from the first time he was asked this question. He said, "I want peace in this country. I want to stop crime and long simmering racism." That sounds like a condemnation to me. But some people on the left are using the veil of anti-Semitism and the charge of anti-Semitism to further their own political causes. It's dangerous. I agree with Alan Dershowitz fully that we should not be loosely throwing this term around. And I've got to ask you straight on, so you think the president does not like Jews and is prejudiced against Jews? You think that about the president of the United States?
You bet. And do you know
Wow.
why? And wow is right, Kayleigh. Do you know why?
Does he hate his daughter? Does he hate his son?
You know what, Kayleigh? I am tired of commentators like you from the right trotting out his daughter, trotting out his son-in-law as talking points against the president's anti-Semitism. They are Jewish, but that is not a talking point against anti-Semitism, and that is a disgrace.
Let's dissect your statement.
Have you no ethics than to invoke people's religion as a talking point?
Let's make this a dialogue.
That itself is anti-Semitic.
Let's make this a dialogue instead of a monologue. Do you think the president dislikes his daughter?
Okay.
Answer the question. Answer, because you said he doesn't like Jews and his daughter's
I'm under no obligation to answer a curveball question.
Because you can't answer the question
because it's a nonsensical question based on nothing.
You know, when he's asked the question, he goes off for 20 seconds about his electoral college victory. Then he mentions racism. Later on, he does say, "As for the Jewish people, I have a daughter." Does that do it for you?
Yes. Stopping crime and long simmering racism sounds like a condemnation. And Mr. Goldstein could not answer. Could not answer.
No, you can't answer the question as to why.
You won't let me finish.
You're right, because he talked about the electoral college.
Steven, let me finish.
Thank you, Kayleigh.
There is a flaw in your logical reasoning.
Oh,
You told me the first thing you said is the president dislikes Jews. The second thing you said when I asked, does he dislike his daughter? You said, I don't have to answer that question.
That's very nice.
There's a flaw
That's very
in your
nice
reasoning.
for Breitbart News, but not for CNN. You are using fake news arguments. Shame on you.
You are using
because you just didn't watch what was on there. He responded about the electoral college.
Isn't it true, though, Kayleigh? I mean, putting aside just your immediate discussion here, but it is true that when someone is close to somebody, they can see them differently as they see others. They can see others as another, and they can see a person, well, you are this, but it doesn't matter. When it comes, I mean, if you look at what happens throughout history, that's certainly been true with anti-Semitism and many other things.
Well, he stood next to the Prime Minister of Israel, who said, I've known this man my whole life, essentially, Donald Trump, and he is the greatest defender of the Jewish people I know. And I think it's very sad that we have liberal commentators, Steve in particular, who is using charges, vile charges, like anti-Semitism and racism, with no evidence behind it.
Kayleigh's right. The Prime Minister of Israel did say that.
That was painful. That was absolutely painful. Steve Goldstein, who was the director for an Anne Frank Center, you'd think that this guy probably gets off on the smell of his own musk. This dude is the worst kind of smug imaginable. And furthermore, he's out there perpetuating something that is a blatant lie, that Donald Trump is an anti-Semite. Where are you getting this nonsense? Where do these liberals get their information? How can you say that Donald Trump, who opened up Mar-a-Lago and quite literally brought an entire country club to its knees because they wouldn't let in Jewish members? He was the one that broke that barrier when he was looking for his property down there in Florida. This is an asinine thing to say. And furthermore, by the way, this dude, Steven Goldstein, if you are going to have the guts to have a center for Anne Frank, okay? If you don't know who Anne Frank is, she was the little Jewish girl that was hiding from the, let's see, what's the best way to describe these people? Who was hiding from the funny mustache man during World War II, and is someone who was also toured Auschwitz and Sachsenhausen. Oh, was it Sachsenhausen? I think it was Sachsenhausen. Anyways, as someone who has been to where one of the worst crimes in human history took place, this dude is equating Trump on the same level as the Nazis? What are you smoking? Seriously, is it 420 time out there on CNN for this dude? What are you smoking? Seriously, did we miss Kristallnacht? Did we miss the Night of the Long Knives? I'm sure Operation Barbarossa is going to happen on our southern border any day now, right? This is an asinine thing to talk about, all right? And I've been to the place where, again, one of the worst crimes in human history took place, and I am smart enough to know that Trump is in the exact opposite side of this issue. Because in European history, everything is about centralizing control, making your government stronger, larger, and more intrusive so you can trample on your neighbors. That's European history in a nutshell. American history has been, let's make the government as small as we can so it doesn't trample on people's rights. And Trump has been embodying that idea. So Kayleigh McEnany is probably the right person to handle this kind of dude. But dude, you have got to be joking somewhere. How do you possibly come to this conclusion? There used to be a joke that liberalism is a mental disorder. And the older I get, the more I see it as, no, this isn't a mental disorder. This is learned behavior. All right? This is what happens when people get into these weird clubs and you have to believe in a whole bunch of nonsense in order to be accepted by your peers. This is some frat nonsense. All right? You do this sort of stuff in college because it's a joke, because you know it's a joke. But then these people are claiming this as the truth. Donald Trump hates Jews. Really? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And the worst part is that he's articulate. There's a certain mental ceiling for these kind of liberals and leftists that get on CNN, spew a bunch of nonsense, and they don't even get chided for it. Eventually, this dude gets a little bit of a call out from one of the moderators because he's being that nonsensical, but it's not enough. She doesn't stop him in time. And then he's out there with his fake outrage and ridiculousness. There's a certain level of bless your heart going on every now and then. Yeah, I'm sorry. This dude's bless your heart level is off the charts. And I don't think he even deserves one. This guy has bought into a blatant lie, and then he uses the shield around him of his friends and peers who continue to buy into and make worse and perpetuate this blatant lie, and then they congratulate him for telling the truth. This is insanity in a nutshell. And Kayleigh McEnany, all she did is asking one simple question. Does Donald Trump hate his Jewish son-in-law? The answer is no, clearly not. The man works out of New York City, okay? You are going to have Jewish business partners in New York City, okay? You are not going to do good business in New York if you aren't friends with at least one Jewish dude. It's kind of that simple. And anyone who hates on a Jewish deli is missing out, by the way. So ultimately, no. Just no, Mr. Goldstein. You don't know what you're talking about. You're spewing a bunch of nonsense, and people keep on perpetuating that nonsense. This needs to stop, okay? There's a certain amount of bless your heart that you can receive, and you're so far off the charts that you don't even get that anymore. So no bless your heart. This is a behavioral problem, and it needs to be corrected. And Kayleigh McEnany is trying to speak some truth and knock some sense into this dude, but I don't think he's capable of hearing it. So yeah, this is just insanity on a whole nother level, and of course, it happens on CNN. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here at Political Brawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.